Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Cryptid Awakenings. Yes, Cryptid Awakenings is a members exclusive show. However, tonight we decided to go live. We want to do one live Cryptid Awakenings show a month just to show all of our Monsters Unleashed followers and creepy culture followers kind of what me and Jen are doing in the member section with helping people and just talking about some personal encounters and just to really talk about everything in general. How are you doing tonight, Jen?
I'm good. How are you?
I could be better, but I'm here and I'm okay and I'll get through this, and I think I needed this. So take it one day at a time and go from there.
Yep. It's going to be okay. I'm here too for you.
Yeah, I know I have a huge support system, and I'm very blessed and thankful for that. And I'll manage. I'll get by. So, with that being said, tonight it's going to be a great show. I have a lot of love and respect for this couple. They are amazing people. I met them for my first time in the Land Between the Lakes, and I kind of got to see a little bit of what Tracey got to do during that time, and a little bit of how she felt once she got done with it, and seeing that just kind of stuck with me. It was gut wrenching. I remember I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it. I remember having to kind of walk away behind the vehicles, so I just wasn't hearing a lot of it. Um, and she's had some other experiences, and her husband's been right there beside her the whole way, supporting her and getting her through it. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and bring out Tracey from Beyond the Veil and her husband, cameraman Bob.
Evening.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
We are fine. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Not a problem. We're glad that you guys were able to come on the show. When we started this, the first thing I said to my dad was, "Hey, I wonder if Tracey and her husband would come on here because you guys, you both went through something pretty dramatic. It was pretty gut wrenching. So tell us a little bit about you guys. Like, how'd you guys meet? And some of the stuff you
I found them at the local pound, and they were about to euthanize him.
They did euthanize me.
And I said, he's so cute. No.
She actually worked with my ex-wife about 37 years ago.
Or maybe close in the 40. I don't know.
Yeah. How old's your boy?
He's 35.
Yeah.
36.
So it was 37, 38 years. You weren't pregnant with him by that time.
Right.
But she worked with my ex-wife, and we got to know each other through a mutual friend who threw a lot of parties in their pool house. And then she got married to her ex-husband and her son's father. And I got married to my ex-wife and the mother of my twins. And we didn't see each other for 25 years or so. And then I'm divorced. I'm new to Facebook, and I'm trying to remember people's names from when I was younger. And there was a lot of alcohol involved back in those days, so my memory's not so good. And I finally came across her, and we got online. We talked a little bit back and forth, and then one night I decided, it was 4th of July weekend 14 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, what are you doing tonight? She goes, well, I got to work until 7 or 8 or whatever time the mall closed. I said, all right. So I drove down to where she was working and hung out with her for a while. And then we went to a little restaurant, had some dinner rather, and then watched the 4th of July fireworks from Meriwether Post. And the rest is history.
But I did not break up that marriage. I want everybody to know this.
No, she didn't. No,
he didn't break up mine. There were people in between.
Yeah, that marriage was gone long before.
No, I'm just saying, there are people out there go,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people, they're so quick to just jump on that marriage.
Well, it was a couple. It was a couple years after I got divorced that we started dating. So.
Oh, little flower.
Nice.
Yeah, listen, we getting roses tonight. Thank you for the roses. It looks like roses. I might just. Tracey, tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do? I know you have we all know you have an amazing channel called Beyond the Veil. Tell us a little bit about that and what do you do with that?
Okay. I originally, way back when, a friend of mine named Dave Bruce needed a guest for a show. And he couldn't find anybody. Everybody was busy doing whatever. And I just happened to scroll by on Facebook and said, look, if you can't find anybody, I'll do it. And I did it. And one thing led to another. And then I had a podcast for a little over a year called Paranormal White Witch. And then now I'm out on my own and it's called Beyond the Veil. And I've had some people ask me, why change the name? I said, well, you're going to start it fresh. People will remember me more than they'll remember the name, unless it's something ridiculous. So I decided to do the podcast to get rid of the stereotypes, or at least help crack them a little bit, because everybody from Hollywood has just everybody's just brainwashed into thinking, okay, they're goth and they wear dog collars and they put curses on people and they're evil. And no, they look like me. They look like him. They look like you guys. Most of the time, you can't tell one from the other. Just like you can't tell like a Christian, a Methodist from a Baptist kind of thing.
I'm going to argue with that one a little bit. I have a feeling that one of those groups has a darker tan than the other one, for the most part.
Oh, jeez Louise. Anyway.
Well, I mean, from what I've seen, most Baptists are usually from the South.
Okay.
And the African Americans are Baptists for the most part.
So I just wanted to dispel some myths. And then at the end of my show, Each week I do a Did You Know? And I've talked to people about the original meaning of the pentagram, and which was the five wounds of Christ. When it got changed over, I'm not sure. I've got to research that more. Why are witches depicted with a pointy hat and the cauldron and the cats, to give them some background, because everything gets so hyped up, you know. And then you got podcasts going like, it was the scariest night of our lives. This is the worst demon we've got. The chances of people running across a legitimate high-end demon like the Exorcist are 1 in a trillion. There's various levels, and you can come across ignorant things. We have in our past outings, but to come across an actual demon, nah.
Yeah. Have you ever came across an actual demon before?
I would say low level. And the first time I didn't realize what it meant. We went to one of the closed forts here years ago with this old team of mine, and we go up into the attic, and I'm walking around. I'm feeling kind of funny, like I had Novocaine or something. And I looked now there's no lights up there. It's barely our flashlights. I looked to the back of the room, and it was all in red, like hot mess, blood red. And I'm thinking, where are the lights coming from? And I walked over there, and from what I'm told, I wouldn't move, and I became as heavy. Now I'm 5'1" on a good day. They couldn't move me. It was like, shut up. It was like trying to move a statue. A big thing of big thing of concrete.
Headstone.
Headstone, sure. And the farther I got away from it, the better I felt. I've been since told that when you see red filter, you're in the presence of demon. Again, what level? I don't know.
I said, wow. I'm glad you said that, because there's been times that I've seen kind of like a red film in my eyes.
Yep.
And I never would have known that. So I'm glad you said
Me either,
that.
but I'm glad you said it too, so we can be aware,
Yeah.
especially when we're out.
I mean, it doesn't mean that you're being possessed. It just means that that's near, and pay attention. So, especially if you have abilities, or you're empathic, or whatever. So
We both are too.
Okay.
So
How is
it's
it
good
like
to know.
when you go into a crowded room? Can you feel everything everybody's thinking and whatever? Like pick up the energy of the room.
I can. Sometimes it gives me anxiety and I have to leave.
Yeah, I get a lot of anxiety, and like when I walk away, I know when like people are talking about me. I'm not gonna say I can hear them, but I know that they are. And every time I've been right about it. So take it for what that is, whatever that is. I can read people very well, and I know when somebody's bad and when somebody's good, and when they're bad, I stay away from them. For instance, I met this one lady in El Paso, and I told my husband, I said, there's something bad about her. I do not want to be friends with her. I don't want to be around her. He's like, well, you need friends. You need, don't need to be hanging out alone. Make friends. Give her a chance. So I'm like, okay, I'll give her a chance. Well, this lady tried hitting on my husband, drug me into a bunch of stuff in El Paso. She was not a good person at all. She had some law enforcement at my house because of some stuff that she did at my house that I didn't even know about. So I ended up, she backstabbed me too. So I was right all along, but I gave my husband a bit of a doubt and gave it a chance.
You've got the greatest excuse to say, I told you so, for the rest of your life.
And you best believe I did. So, there's that. So, Tracey, I met you and Bob in the LBL, was it November?
It was the Halloween weekend. It was November 1.
Okay.
No,
so,
I'm sorry. It was
It's
the
the
second.
second.
Yeah, the Halloween was Friday, and we were down there Wednesday night, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We tried to meet up with Greg and Natalie on Saturday night, but it was raining like nobody's business. And then Sunday we were there for all of the fireworks that were going on.
Yeah, I know when I was down there and I met you, it was so emotional for me to meet you, Tracy, because we had did a show when I had my first encounter, and you had talked to me, and you knew things that nobody ever knew about my life or about me, and a lot of it was personal that I won't go in detail on here,
Right.
but it
Right.
was really personal, and it was something that I had been seeking closure for a while, and I never got that until I met you and you talked to me, and I was so thankful when I met you. Like, I don't
Aw.
know if you were a hugging person, but I just wanted to reach out to
Oh,
hug
yeah,
you.
I'm a hugger.
And thank
I'm a-
you,
Give
because
me a hug. Give me like a stand-in hug. There you go.
it really helped me. It really did, and it meant a lot.
Oh, good.
And guys, I never knew Tracy.
Yeah.
Never met her, never talked to her until the night we did the stream, and I got to meet her in person a few months later. So you really did, and I will forever cherish that and be grateful for that. While you were there, I know you probably can't talk about it in too much in detail. But,
Oh, no. Greg said I can talk about it.
okay, all right. Well,
No.
I know you did.
There are certain details and things that happened that I won't talk about just because of the filming that was done there. But yeah, I mean, we can discuss what happened and not. I mean, I give it as good a detail as I can because I have no idea what you were
Right.
going through.
I know you did the Estes method, and then you did the God's helmet.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
the other
God's helmet opens you up. And when
Yeah.
you're already open, it's like New Year's Eve. And then the Estes method is a sensory blockout sort of a situation, and you hear white noise. And if you hear something, you say what you hear. So, and Greg just said, you brought me down here, Greg, on Halloween weekend
On a new moon.
on a new moon, and the most haunted place ever. He goes, yeah, I want to see what happens to you. I said,
Yeah. Yeah, he was wringing his hands like Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's
So-
crazy. Halloween,
Yep.
doing what she was
and it was
doing
a trifecta.
in the LBL. That it was terrifying, and it was like from a distance, the little bit that I was able to hear. That got me. And it got. I think Andy was there with me. It got him. It got my husband. So, if you want, go ahead and share like what we're talking about with it, because
Okay.
I know it
All right.
was really traumatic for you.
Okay. I will say it's the closest I've come. I'm not going to be 61 in June. It's the closest I've ever come in my life to breaking. It was that intense, but I would do it again because of the outcome that I will tell you about in a few moments. We go down there and they put the God helmet on me, and I had always wanted to see what it's like. And it's just like a loose fitting cap with some electrodes on it that are no more powerful than your refrigerator.
Yeah, they're like refrigerator magnets.
Yeah.
There's it's almost like a knit cap that fits over around the hairline, down past the ears, and in the back of the head. The sensors, not sensors, they're transmitters, are keyed to a specific frequency. I believe it was like 20 hertz, very, very low frequency. And supposedly the frequency helps to bridge the gap between the two hemispheres of the brain.
Oh, it did.
So she's wearing the God helmet. I think they had you under for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, 2025.
At one point, you could hear her talking to somebody, but there was also this, this kind of thing, like you were at a Stevie Nicks concert. She was waving the music out of her face. And she also said, well, you know more about what happened to you while you were under the helmet.
When I was under, I always ask people, you remember as kids, the little chiclet envelopes of gum with the confetti on them?
Oh yeah.
That's what I was seeing. I was like, this is pretty cool. I like this. And then all the way down a football field away, at least, I saw this black shape. And given my background, I'm thinking it's a shadow person, no big deal. And within a millisecond, it went from being here, here's me, it went from being here at the other end of the field to right, like in my face. That's when he saw me doing this. I'm like, get the hell off of me. I'm not realizing. And then I kept hearing footsteps walking around and around and around where I was sitting because I was all by myself. It was me and another chair for Trey Hudson, who was running the the God helmet and the Estes, but he wasn't sitting there at the time. And then the cameras and the lights. And I thought, I can hear footsteps over all of this stuff. What the hell is Greg doing? He wanted them to be quiet, but he stopped it. Greg never came down. What I've since been told by a bunch of people, and I believe all of them, is that I was bum rushed by a Bigfoot.
Oh.
And I got not my experience with Bigfoots is it's very elementary, very like pre-K. I know a little bit to talk about them, but not much. So I just assumed it was a shadow figure testing me. And they said, well, they can do that too. So he just wanted to see, since you were the most open at that time, because I happened during the God helmet, if you were a threat or not. And when I realized I wasn't a threat, went away. But after that, they put me in what's called the Estes method. And that is where you put on headphones and you hear white noise, like static from a radio, and you have blindfold on. You can't hear or see anything else but that. And I will say, normally when I do an Estes method, it feels like I'm sitting in the back of a movie theater just watching. Not this time. This time, I think because of the God helmet, obviously, I actually felt like I was the two girls that are involved, that I'll tell you about momentarily. And I've never felt like that. I just, normally it's from a distance, I can see what's going on. I have full control over it. I don't want to say I didn't have control over it, but this is something I don't want to experience again. Two girls were from the area, 14 and 16, stepsisters, or half sisters, one of the two, I can't remember which, went for a ride with a guy because he liked his truck and he was from the neighborhood. He drove them out to where we were, or close to where we were. And unbeknownst to the girls, he had a friend out there. And they proceeded to do to women what you're not supposed to do to women, if you understand. And when I tell you I felt everything that those girls felt, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not blowing it up for this show. It was ridiculous. He watched, he was there the whole time and saw. He knows that, I can play with people, but I've
been around her with some freaky things happen. Nothing like this. This was like way, way, way intense.
So he said at one point, and I remember it when I was under, I saw the man coming towards the one girl, and I'm saying, no, he's going to shoot. And I can't remember the name. Although at the time I was given the first, middle, and last name. I don't remember what they are now. And he said, right is the time when I said, oh my God, he shot her. They heard what they thought was a gun.
Yeah, we thought, well, actually what I thought we heard was the sound of a log cracking in the fire. It was very clear. It was very loud. It was very crisp. And I looked down at the fire to see if there was anything going on, because it's the beginning of fall and there's dry everywhere. And I looked down and there's no sparks. There's no sign that anything happened in the fire. And then a few seconds later, there was a second loud burst, and I was looking at the fire when it happened. Now, to the north of where we were, about a mile, maybe a mile and a quarter, there's a registered hunting ground at LBL. There's nothing in that area to the south for, I think, like 2.5 or 3 miles. So kind of a long distance for a gunshot to be sounding that clear, like you were standing on the range right next to a high-powered rifle. After that, then the screaming started and the pleading for her life.
Yeah.
The exclamation that he shot her, like
yeah,
she said.
And the interesting thing is the second shot was when he shot the girl. I said, oh my God, I won't tell anybody, that kind of whatever you would think.
Yeah.
Is what I was apparently saying. And then the second shot went off. And but leading up to that, there was a lot of really icky stuff. And I remember what they looked like at the time. I remember, like I said, the beginning, last, the middle names. Normally, I don't remember any of that. When I come out of an Estes, I might have a snippet here or there. But I think because of the God helmet, for the longest time, I could remember everything. And I didn't want to remember everything. And I eventually got them to cross. And this is funny, but it's not funny. I take off the goggles and the headphones and everything, and I look around. Everybody's crying. I mean, ugly boy girl crying. And I'm like, what? Because I just came out of it and I didn't realize at the time what had happened. And I was like, oh my God. And then he looked right on his phone and he searched for the
Yeah.
two names and damn, they weren't there.
Yeah, it was. It's something that happened. I think
In the
30 or
80s.
40 years
In the
ago.
80s.
Yeah, in the 80s sometime. Apparently, like she said, these two girls were really enamored by this guy's truck. He picked them up in Tennessee
Mhm.
and then drove them to LBL. Him and his buddy drove them to LBL and assaulted them, raped them, and then ended up killing them and leaving their bodies there, somewhere near where we were in that cove.
Yeah, I actually was taken to where their bodies were found. I know somebody that either was or still is friends with the family, and we were out investigating, and they showed me where the one of the bodies was found, and all I could think about was that day when you went through all that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing you like screaming out and pleading out, and then I look around and everybody there was crying. Everybody.
Yeah.
It was rough to hear and it was rough to see. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything about God Hell Man.
So you had just met me and now I'm losing my mind out in the middle of a field. You can laugh about it.
Oh yeah, I can laugh about it now. I
I
was
didn't
like,
think you were crazy, okay? Because I believed in you because of me talking
show, yeah.
prior to the show. But I was confused on as to like what you were doing, and we were trying to stay back so it didn't interfere with anything. And then just hearing you like plead out and scream and cry, it was
It was very, very, I can't even, intense isn't even the right word. It took me 2 weeks of laying in bed and
Yeah.
meditating and praying and this and that.
and lots and lots and lots of Palo Santo wood.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I took some down there with me and I made sure I protected everybody in their tents. I went around, made a protective circle, but that I am not happy I went through it, but I'm glad I went through it for the girls' sake because now I know that they crossed. That
Yeah.
was, yeah. I mean, that's the only good thing because I was like, oh my God, how do women deal? I can't even wrap my head around how a woman deals with having that done, and then go on and have a normal life. I couldn't comprehend that.
the media. I don't think the media ever even reported anything like that being done from what I've read about it. But I've only read a few articles, but I know their names, Carla and Vicky. They were
Yeah.
really young, and every year, this is what blew my mind about this. And I don't even think I know I had told somebody down there about this, but the day that you did that, the day before, they had just did like an anniversary memorial thing in Dover for those girls.
Really?
Yes.
Is that where they were from Dover?
Yeah, they were from Dover. And when you came out and was, telling people what you had experienced and stuff, I'm like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy because they just had that memorial for those girls the day before. Like, it was just weird.
I had seen them 3 times prior to our getting there.
That morning, yeah.
Yeah, I saw them at our hotel, and I'm like, well, they're cute, But I see spirits, so it wasn't any big to do. And then we go to dinner at this fabulous little place, little hole in the wall with the best food I've ever had. And I look outside, at the parking lot, and they're standing there. And I mentioned to him something like, they're persistent little buggers. They're still here.
She's like, that's the second time I've seen them today.
Yeah.
So then I started asking her, well, what were they dressed like? And I mean, her first response was, she said MTV. Think about, the 1980s, early 1980s, jeans, T-shirt, like concert shirt or whatever. And then she said the same thing. There's a visitor center about 3.5 or 4 miles from the cove we were at.
Yeah.
And in the center of the park, there's a main road that bisects the park right there. And she said, oh, they're here again. We stopped in the visitor center, grabbed something to drink because we didn't know how long we were going to be down there. We just knew we had to get out by 4 because I had to drive to Nashville to catch us a 7:30 flight back to Baltimore, which left at 8:45.
So that the third time we saw him, I was like, oh, they've got to be wanting to get some kind of message through. The interesting thing was, and I didn't know that that's where the Trail of Tears went through or something like that. I kept hearing Indian playing the music. It was beautiful. It was sad, but it was beautiful. I told him, I said, there's an Indian up at the top of the hill and he's playing pipe or something, some kind of music.
Flute, maybe.
Flute. Yeah. A flute. I said, it's beautiful, but it's so sad. And that's when he did some research and told me. So. Yeah,
the Trail of Tears went through that area. There was a lot of Native Americans that were poorly treated in that area. So it's got to be a very active to begin with, just because of that. I got nothing right now.
Okay.
I ran out of things to say. Unbelievable.
There's a lot of native burial grounds in this area and between the lakes and stuff. So that doesn't surprise me one bit that you saw that and heard that at all. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I would have saw that and heard that because I bet it was beautiful. I love native culture, and I got so many blankets made from. They came from a Navajo reservation. One of my good friends is Navajo, so she was always bringing me like fry bread and their blankets, handmade blankets and stuff. So I love it type of culture. So I'm jealous you got to see that and hear that because now I want to hear it and see.
Okay.
Well, when we were there Saturday, because like I said, we were chasing. We knew that Greg was there. We found out that Natalie was there, so we were chasing him down. We finally figured out where that site was because we'd been in Saturday. We went through LBL, and everywhere there was a sign that said there was a graveyard. I turned down that road, and you can't find them unless you know where they are. It's like being in
where's Waldo?
It's being in Pirates of the Caribbean. The island where the treasure is only known to people who know where it is. And apparently, you knew where there was a graveyard above the cove. When Tracey and I were there on Saturday, I'm looking down at the ground and I'm seeing snail shells and pieces of flint and I think fish gills and things like that. And then she's looking up the hill. I'm like, what did you say? She goes, it looks like an Indian. And then that's when we went back to the hotel that night, the motel that night.
So
that's when I kind of looked it up online and I saw where the Trail of Tears went. And it was through central and northern LBL. And there were apparently a number of Native American tribes that inhabited that area for a long, long time before we came around.
So you saw the Native American at the cemetery that's below where you guys were camping or filming and stuff.
Yeah, we walked the shoreline probably 25 or 30 yards past that big fifth wheel trailer that was there. And that's when she started looking up there because I'm looking at the ground. I'm looking for neat things to take home. Little pieces of flint. You don't find flint in Maryland, and I don't have any in my collection. So I'd pick a couple small pieces up, and then there was maybe a clam shell or something. And I turn around and look, and Tracy's looking up the hill, and she's like this. I'm like, what are you looking at? She goes, there's an Indian up there. And I looked up there. I didn't see an Indian. I saw a bunch of trees.
Yeah. Mr. Swamp Dog said it was a shaman playing the flute.
Okay. That would make sense.
He also said it's indigenous people, not Indian.
I'm sorry.
Listen, I kid you not.
Okay.
Every book teaches it so differently. You have history books that call them natives. You have history books that call them Indians. And I think everybody gets confused on it. I was calling them Indians for the longest time until I met my friend and she got really offensive. And I was like, oh, I'm from West Virginia. Our history books say this. I apologize.
Yeah,
that's from the European. I'm going to say settlers. Some people say colonizers or conquerors, but from the European settlers because the original they were looking for a new trade route to the East India Islands, so the Spice Islands, and that's where they thought they were. So these people are the natives here. They're the Indians.
Yeah, Swamp Dog. You have to believe us. We meant absolutely no offense.
Yeah,
that's just what our old butts were brought up with.
Right.
So
thank
you for letting us know.
We come from the generation that was told that if it wasn't for the British settlers and English settlers, then the Indians wouldn't have survived that winter.
Indigenous.
I'm sorry, the indigenous would not have survived that winter.
It's going to take us a minute.
Yeah,
But
it takes.
I mean,
I like have issues pronouncing that word for some reason, and I try, but I don't know. I stick to what history books say. Well, what my friend told me, which is natives, so I say natives. But it's
Say
just
natives.
everywhere you go, it's so different, and it's because the way that we grew up, the way that we were taught, and when she told me, oh, like I'm not an Indian, I'm native. I'm like, I am so sorry. Like,
yeah,
I'm from West Virginia. This is how we were taught. This is,
yeah.
what we called them. So it just everywhere is different about it, and it, you never know what to say, what not to say. But I know you guys wasn't being offensive about it at all.
No, no, and when I something like that pops up with me, I usually just say, "Well, you know what? I didn't know that, but thank you for letting me know."
Yeah, yeah. You learn.
And I get on with life.
You learn
Yeah,
something.
we could fill volumes with things that we don't know.
What I was going to tell you is, so that cemetery where you saw that,
Uh-huh.
we did a paranormal thing in there, and our spirit talker did tell us it was a native from centuries ago. So that's pretty cool that you saw it. It spoke to us, but it still didn't play the flute for me, so I'm still upset with it.
Ask the next time you're over there, just like the night before when you're there, say,
I'm,
if you don't mind, can I hear XYZ?
yeah,
It might work, it might not, but you don't know unless you try it.
I might take it a gift or whatever's up there, a gift, and maybe
Sure, you can.
back and
You can.
be able to hear because I want to hear because that's beautiful. That's
Yeah, it was. It was lovely.
so. After you guys left the LBL, did you have anything like happening to you? How was you feeling after going through all
Oh, I
that?
was a mess.
Yeah.
I was, and the funny thing about the whole trip is, I told him that Greg wanted us down there the first to the ninth, and for some reason, he had us go down the 31st, the 30th, the 1st, and the 2nd. It's just what happened. We couldn't change our tickets. Thank goodness, because if I had to stay there overnight, I would have been in the hospital. My nerves were shot. I had fibromyalgia too. It triggered a flare. I get migraines. It triggered a migraine. And so I barely remember going through the airports and everything. And he just prodded me along, and then I just went to bed for 2 weeks. And, every now and then I'll flash back to it, but nothing like it was.
I mean, the worst I've seen her prior to that was probably the second or third time we went to Laurel's when you did.
I channeled the serial killer.
The channel the serial killer.
That's always fun. Yeah, that's always fun.
I watched that video and that creeped me out a little bit.
That's why I'm very grateful to have Michael with me at all times.
Yeah, that's the one you just collapsed, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing about the collapsing is once obviously he stopped filming right away because I'm falling out on the floor, and two people down there, Matt and Mindy, fabulous people, love them. They both run it. Like he does most of the props and stuff. He walks by. I'm laying on the floor and goes, "Hey, you having a good night?" Like, I'm on the floor, dude.
That was what we did that there 4 or 5 times, I guess.
Yeah.
So first time we went, we did a live feed. That was the night that I saw something.
Yeah.
Which was kind of strange because not only is the theater that this attraction is in haunted, but they've also picked up things from local sanitariums and hospitals to add to their attraction,
and nursing homes
and whatever else. So here's Tracey and I, just like we are right now. We have another I can't remember the gentleman's name.
Matt?
No, Matt was standing in the door. So Matt's like there, like she said, the technical manager. Mindy is the manager herself. And there was a third guy who was helping run the place. So we're all standing in this room that's filled with all this old medical equipment. And I'm looking at the camera. I'm, panning slowly, making sure that I try to get people in frame. And then I happen to look up, and behind Matt's head in the doorway, about right here, was something that looked like a little kabuki face. Yeah, Japanese, the Japanese art, the white face, the real thin lips. Everything's very understated. And in the doorway, just ahead, I looked out at the camera and I looked back up, and it was gone.
Wow.
So that was the first time I experienced anything at Laurel's. I'd never been there before.
Yeah, now he gets to see shadow people around the house and at work, and every now and then he's like, I need a cleansing. They're following me to work again. Okay. And that happens when you live with somebody who's really open.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're like batteries off of one another. My son is very empathic, and he doesn't see spirit like I'm seeing you. He sees it in the third eye. And every now and then we'll ask each other, who was that? Who was that? And we'll say the same person, like every time. In different person, but we'll both get the same person, if that makes sense. So
next time I went down there with her, she was invited down to do the Estes method, and I don't know, we were supposed to meet another group down there or something like that, or
they wanted me to take the cast around and show them everything, and
there was some kind of a snafu. So
yeah, somebody else didn't show up, so she said, "Please just take the cast around." And I'm sitting there, apparently having an argument with myself on the Estes method, but I don't remember.
Yeah, one of the cast members was there. She did the first one, and she was really animate. Somewhere around here, I still have it on a chip. I got it downloaded. And then Tracey went next, and for 20 minutes, I mean, it was a very clear conversation, but if you weren't listening to it really well, you didn't realize that it was person A, and then a response from B, and then a response from A. So it was back and forth like that for like 10 minutes. And it wasn't like a heated argument. It was just like a typical like married couple discussion.
Yeah.
And then the next time we went was when she had the channeling, and that was what the video you saw was probably the second time it happened.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to meet another.
No, I fell out the first time.
Yeah. The first time was in the hallway.
No.
That was
when I fell down. That was
when you got pushed in the theater. No, that was the second time you channeled that night.
Okay.
Because that was when you were supposed to meet another paranormal researcher, and he couldn't make it that night, so we just went through by ourselves.
Yes.
And we went through the theater where you got shoved twice, which was uncool. And then the hallway just past the theater was the first time you channeled him for like a half a minute.
Oh, and he was riding in our car seat on the way back, in the back seat of the car.
Yeah.
And I looked back and said, there's a dude back there named,
I can't remember his name either.
Something Miller. I don't know. I can't remember the name now. That's funny.
Well, we are getting older.
Yeah, yes, we are. At least I remember to put my teeth in.
Right.
And it turned out that was him, the serial killer. So
yeah, he was something. he was somebody. He had
Tracey,
killed another.
I love them together because they're so funny.
Well, you saw the look in her eyes. She doesn't think I'm right, and because I'm a
sorry.
man, I'm probably not.
I'm the one that fell on the floor and had Matt walk past me and go, "Yeah, right." No, you dumbass. I'm not all right. It's like this is
What's funny was watching Mindy try to grab you as you went down.
Look like, you ever see a cat try to get something? That's what she looked like. This has nothing to do with anything, but a million years ago, I was living with my parents after a bad relationship, and it was Christmas time, and I was tired because I'm raising a boy and taking care of them, and she's got a little part-time job, and I guess we're not going to have any Christmas decorations out front. So I got me a little attitude going, and in my clogs, my wooden clogs, I go up a ladder, a 6-foot ladder, go putting stuff, and I fell. I bent the ladder. Okay, the neighbor 2 doors down go, "You all right?" I said, "I just fell off a blinkety blink 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 ladder." "No, I'm not all right." Okay, and went right on what he's doing. So these guys don't care. They just keep on going. Not you.
I picked you up off the floor. I did the
Yes,
right
you
thing.
did. Yes, you did. You did your husband.
I said a really, really quick prayer to St. Michael.
I 100% believe you on that, Tracey, because I was in a grocery store, and I'm only like 4'11" and a half, okay? I'm giving myself a half inch. Just let me have that half inch. And we're in Walmart. My husband is 6'2". So there's the can of green beans that I'm needing is like the big white can. Not the big one, but the little bit smaller one. And it's way on the top shelf, and I'm looking up. And he's just standing there looking at me. And I'm thinking, well, are you going to get it? And I'm talking about how I need it. and all of that, he doesn't go to get it for me. And I had already been bickering with him earlier that day because some other stuff. So I stood on my tippy toes and was reaching, couldn't get it. So I stood on the bottom shelf, which you do not do in Walmart at all.
No.
And I reached up there and I kind of just uplifted myself and I was able to swipe it and I felt my hand gripped it. No, right in the head. And I turned and looked at him and I just bit my damn jaw. We checked out and got out the car. And boy, I just let him have it.
Oh, I would have thrown
Are
the
you
green
kidding me?
beans at him.
Are you that damn dumb to see your short ass wife reaching for a can of green beans?
Yeah.
You are 6'2" and you could have easily grabbed, but no, you caused me to get my head bashed in by a green bean can. So I know what you mean.
I see her looking at something on top shelf, and I'll either get down on all fours like a step stool, or I'll cup my hands like this. Yeah, I do.
No, you
Like
don't.
I'm going to lift you up and hold you up so you can get what I can
No, you
reach.
don't. Stop lying to him.
Do that. I've done
Stop
it. You know I've
drinking.
done
You've had enough.
it. Yeah, well, I'm empty. See, it's empty.
We got way off track with this.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
all right.
It's been great. No, don't apologize. It's great. I love it. If you guys caught our show on Monsters Unleashed, was it last night or night before? That would have had you laughing all night. But so after the LBL, you were just really drained, probably mentally and physically. Have you ever experienced anything like that before, with like going to some of the haunted places that you go to and stuff?
No, I've never felt like I was out of control before. I've never felt scared before. And there's, I'll tell this real quick story. When I was born like this, okay? And when I was 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there, we lived in this old house in a historic part of Maryland. And in the back, which used to be the carriage house, my parents had renovated it into a barn. And part of my chores was to go down and, vacuum it once a week, whether it needed it or not. So I'm doing that one day, and I start hearing this voice saying, "Pray to me, pray to me," and it wouldn't stop for 3 days. It was driving me nuts, and I thought, Mom's really understanding. I didn't understand it. I remember praying really hard that my great grandmother would come and tell me, "What the hell to do with this?" And she said, "You're being tested. If you give in, not to sound all Star Warsy or anything, you can go down this path and you can go down that path." And I finally, on the third day, this is stereotypical Hollywood. It was a stormy night. I go out in the backyard. Thank God it was a stormy night. And I screamed to the top of my voice, "I will never pray to you. I will always go towards the light." It stopped. And all in front of me was my great grandmother, and I would assume descendants from there. So I've always known that I'm protected where I go. But LBL, that was different.
Yeah, that was frustrating for me because I'm supposed to be there to protect her, and there was nothing there that I could do. The only thing that I would have been able to do at that time would have been take her out of the Estes method, but I was afraid that if I did that, the shock would hurt her.
Yeah.
So I had to sit there and just, deal with it for 5 minutes or so, or however long that happened.
Yeah, I bet.
And that's not a feeling I like.
Yeah, so you guys probably will never go back to LBL.
I would go back to LBL. I'm not doing that
I'd go back there. The park itself is just,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to, hike around the park, different trails, starting with the North Visitor Center and just, look around the place and see what you can see.
I mean, yeah, remember, I see spirit wherever I am.
Yeah.
There, it's more concentrated.
Go to Gettysburg with her.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Oh, I would love to. Is this an open invitation? Because I'm coming.
Oh, yeah.
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 We go up there a couple times a year just for the fun of it, or, just because we feel like it.
Yeah. You having a brain fart?
Yeah, I'm having a small one. So lived in Maryland all over life, but had never been to Antietam National Battlefield. So last year, or a year and a half ago or so, I decided to take her up there. Now I figure she's going to get some reaction out of the area that's known as Bloody Lane. Supposedly one of the most deadly battles in the entire Civil War in a single day period. Something like 9,000 men were killed, and I believe maybe another dozen and a half or so were injured in that area. Nothing. Not a thing. go to Gettysburg. And I
Now,
believe.
wait a minute. On the way, when we walked into the visitor center in Antietam,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
you know how you feel when you go into the ocean, a little bit of resistance that you have? It felt like I was walking in that. And I ended up, we didn't really see too much there, but I brought a soldier home and he hung out on the front porch for about 2 or 3 days. And I had people
Oh.
saying to me, come
to
to
Pine
Pine
Barrens.
Barrens. Oh, I would love to.
Oh,
That would be
Jesus. Here we go
great.
again. Now I got to start working on that vacuum cleaner idea I had. Figure vacuum cleaner with a HEPA filter and a diesel engine on it. I could just suck the ghost straight out of the air.
What you're saying, Bob, is
Ghostbusters.
she really stresses you out with what she does sometimes.
Oh,
That
yeah.
no, that was the only time I was
Yeah.
really, really stressed. Because, like I said, I mean, I could tell what she was going through was seriously traumatic. The time she channeled the serial killer at the haunted house, that was creepy. That led me into wearing this like full time now instead of just every once in a while. But the LBL, that situation in LBL was something that was way out of my control, and I'm a control freak. So I'll go back there again if she wants to go back there again. I don't have a problem.
I
with
have no
that.
problem
Yeah.
going back to LBL. I won't, and I would tell people if you're already open, please be cautious. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's pretty cool to see what this does. It amps it up. Yeah, careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I FAFO'd, and wow, it took a long time.
Yeah, that's the longest I've ever seen her have to recover. And even the channeling was like a couple of days tops.
Yeah, I mean, because normally, like I said, it felt like I was sitting in the back of a movie theater watching everything. And I never could remember what I was saying at the time. But this, I'm sure had to be because of the God helmet. That was the only thing that was different.
Mm-hmm.
This was just an icky next level. So, yeah, I'll go back to I'll do that.
Dan's got a question.
I got two of them, actually. First of all, Bob, what are you wearing for protection?
St. Michael.
Okay.
My oldest boy, my two twins, basic training, light wheel diesel mechanic, and then the 506th. So once he signed up with the 506, I knew he signed up with the 506. I did a little bit of research, and apparently the patron saint of the airborne is St. Michael.
Okay.
So we're at a local religious site in Maryland a few years ago, and right after he joined, and Tracey got me one made out of obsidian, and then I got this one. That's, I believe it's sterling or stainless or something like that. So where's the camera? So that's my small one. I have a much larger challenge coin that I carry in my wallet. And that was the one that I was gripping on to and saying prayers to when she was under the Estes method LBL.
He said
that
it
was
took
my
him like
second.
3 days for the ridges from the coin to come off his hand. He had that like a death grip on it.
Oh, well.
Can you explain that method? Excuse my ignorance, but I've never even heard of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Estes method? Yeah, absolutely. The Estes method is when you sit down in a chair, you're blindfolded, and they put headphones on you, and the only thing that you can hear is like in between channels, that staticky white noise. Sometimes they'll make it go real fast. Sometimes they'll make it go real slow. It depends on where your comfort level is. And the thought process behind it is that that's what spirit can speak through. They can go through electronics and everything. That's why people lose their battery life so fast and, all that kind of thing. So for me, now somebody else who does it might feel differently and might have a different experience, than I am. I can only speak for how it affects me. Like I said, all of a sudden I feel like I'm sitting back in a movie theater and I'm watching a play. And, they usually don't keep you under for more than, I think, a half hour is the longest I've ever gone.
You were 20 minutes with the argument, and then I'd say you were probably 15 at LBL. I think you came out of it at LBL real quick.
Yeah. So
quicker than usual.
Normally, I only have maybe I'm a little snotty for a day or two, or a lot snotty. But normally the adverse effects really aren't there. but they certainly were there. I would
Yeah.
absolutely put the biggest caution sign I could on a God helmet. I wouldn't tell somebody not to do it. Just, you know, give it a lot of thought and
Yeah.
do some research. Don't be an idiot like I was. And go, oh, I don't want to do it. Let's see what
Oh yeah,
happens.
she was jumping up and down like Daffy Duck when she
Yeah.
found out she was going to be
How
doing
could
this.
you do the
and bouncing
God
all over the damn house.
Do,
was waiting for
do people typically do both of them like the same day
No.
within? No, it's usually
No.
like different time.
One or the other. I have only ever done an Estes method, and I knew how my psyche and my body handled that. So I figured, no big deal. You know, let's just see what this else. I mean, how much more could it open up? Well, my good Lord Almighty, it opened everything up. You know, and like I said, I don't regret going down there. I never want to experience what I experienced down there again. But I'm so glad that I had the blessing of crossing these two young girls over. You know,
Yeah.
so for anything else, it was worth that.
Their poor family never got the closure that they needed, and that's really sad. And that is a nice thing that you did for them, helping them cross over, because they were like stuck there, man. That's the way I took it. They were stuck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, basically living in their hell,
Mhm.
and you helped them cross over, and that's beautiful. That's a great thing that you did. So, man, that's. I'm telling you, I was thinking about it for you, and I can't imagine how drained you were. How long did it take you to come out of like that ickiness? Was there things that you did? I mean, I know you were talking about, you know, the.
When I came home from LBL.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the better part of a week before she started to return to normalcy. You know, there were a few things she did around the house that she's always going to do because she just wants to do it, like our early morning feeding of the cats, where we give them some vitamins and supplements and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as like cooking and cleaning and things like that, I took care of most of that for about a week to 10 days.
Yeah, he would just walk in and I would be sitting there staring. Now I do get what's called absence seizures, which every now and then I can hear everything that's going on. It's just like I'm stuck in a stare. But this was different. This was I was stuck in a stare, watching, not feeling this time, but watching what happened. Like, and my brain had to process it in its own way. So, what does a God helmet look like?
It's kind of like
a swimmer's cap. Only
I was going to
loose?
say, well, I don't think it was though. I think it was more of a mesh net. Think of what a hospital might put on a burn victim. Like if you've seen the mesh netting they put on burn limbs. So in the hat, made into almost a hat with about, I guess, maybe a dozen or a little bit more. There were even number of leads. So half of them coming out of each side. And like I said, they vibrate. If I remember what I was told, they vibrated at 20 hertz or maybe 20 kilohertz. But it was a real low frequency, like, you know, you would expect to hear from a bass guitar. And it was real low power. So it was supposedly just enough to bridge the gap between the two hemispheres of the brain. And I guess maybe open up the third eye.
Oh, it opened everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. I really enjoyed it at first, even swatting away a Sasquatch. That was fun. You know, I was having a good time. I like looking at the pretty confetti, and that was really cool. And, you know, and then everything, then they said, okay, we're going to do the Estes method now. And it was a whole different ballpark.
The really War Criminal said Terry's is like a transformer mask.
Mm.
I don't think the one you were using was covering your face. It was just your head.
No, it was like I always thought it looked like a loose fitting swimmer's cap, like a real loose one.
Okay.
With the little leads and stuff. And then they put glasses on me with pads around my ears. So I couldn't hear anything except the staticky white noise.
Right. Wow, I don't want to try that. I don't want to try that at all. I've already been opening up the stuff in the LBL, and I don't want to be opening up the.
I recommend you, of all people, doing a God helmet.
No.
As this method, you'd have to get some serious thought. That's something you should try someplace else first.
I was going to say, you might want to try, but you might want to get like a Palo Santo log to put in the fire. I was thinking about her an acre's worth down in like Bolivia or wherever the hell they grow the stuff. We've got bags of it around here. She gets like 3 or 4 bags of it for Christmas.
Yeah.
When she was doing her previous show about a year and a half or so ago, she was getting a little spicy one night, And I looked at her and I said, you've been doing a lot of shows and you've had a lot of freaky guests on. Maybe you need to do a cleansing. Next day, everything's back to normal.
Yep. I never thought about it, and it's stupid coming through the airwaves. I've ended up with marks on my body from guests. One person had what they thought was a jinn following them, and I went on the internet because I was supposed to talk to her, and I snapped a picture. Of this blue lady jinn. And I said, this is what I think she looks like. And when I talked to the woman the next day, she goes, hold on, I got to collect myself. She sent me the same picture that I sent to her. It was the same woman that I saw. And during like a little bit of meditation with it, all I could think of was that she was coming up to me and like going, back off, this is mine. I had a bruise here. I've been bruised before. I've been cut before. They normally never last. I have a couple of scars from the cuts.
Yeah, you've gotten shoved a couple of times that I've seen.
Yeah, but normally everything just wears off. But, you got to be real careful where you are. It sounds silly. Make sure you know what the weather's going to be like, because rain is a conductor. And if you want to get a lot of evidence, go on a misty, rainy night. That's the best. But it can also be the worst depending on how experienced you are.
Yeah. So if you guys could give any advice to somebody that's had a traumatic experience, like what you went through, what I've been through, what Jen's been through, what hundreds of people, probably thousands of people have been through, what advice would you give them as far as coping with it and healing from it and protecting themselves?
I think the first thing I would say is it's not your fault. Even under the most extraneous of circumstances, having something traumatic happen to you, whatever the it is, you didn't wake up in the morning and go, hey, I want to catch on fire. I want to go out and be, whatever from a guy. And I want to be no one wakes up saying, this is what I want to do. So you didn't ask for it. And a lot of people I've heard on these different podcast shows are like, but, I was thinking this and I was thinking that, so I must have asked for it. No, you didn't. And journaling. I love journaling. Journaling is the best way to get all of the funk out of your body. Write it down. And then when you're done, go back and read it and you'll see patterns. I also recommend doing grounding as far as my witchy stuff. The best way to do that is, and I wait till the warmer weather. So like around now, take your shoes off, go out on, nature's dirt, the grass. Can't be asphalt, can't be concrete. Has to be a natural occurring thing. Hold on to a little piece of copper, like a little piece of copper pipe. Stick that in the ground and hold it. And what's going to happen is you're going to feel a tingling. And the theory is the earth pulls the negative crap out and puts in the positive. You can do that with a shower too if you don't want to be out in your front yard with a copper pipe. You envision a white light coming down and pushing out all the ick, while at the same time a blue light coming in and making it all better. And then you have to it's a lot of visualizing, a lot of intent, all your woes going down the drain. But I think the most important thing is give yourself a break. You didn't ask for it.
You're right, Tracy. I do both of those. I ground myself and I do that in the shower. Just washes everything away. It works. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was some really good advice. Really good advice. Some of them, Tracey told me when I started having my experiences, and she told me to be safe and okay to take a break and to be careful, what I'm doing. And I really did take her advice on a lot. And she really helped me. And she really helped me. When I say this woman helped me, she has helped me. So that was some really good advice. And it's funny that you talk about journaling, because towards the end of our show, we always do a Cryptid Awakenings tip of the day. And we've done talking about it. And we've done, what was last week's, Jen? I forgot. Sorry, my mind is all, I can't remember last week's. I can't remember last week's.
So, put them in a notebook.
I'm having a brain fart, but I'm actually going through a lot right now. So it's kind of
talking about it was the first one, I believe.
Yeah, talking about it was the first one. You know what? I know what the second one was because I can show it.
Okay.
was this one? Taking back control of your environment
Okay.
was the second one. And then today's is journaling. So I'm going to read just a little bit about journaling and what it does. Number one, it gets the experience out of your head. After something intense, your brain loops it over and over trying to solve it. So writing moves it from mental loop to physical record. It reduces that constant replay effect and gives your brain permission to stop reprocessing it every second. And this is important when the event doesn't make logical sense, which is common in the cryptid field or the paranormal field or anything that you've experienced that should not exist field. Number two, it creates structure out of chaos. Encounters are usually fast, confusing, and a sensory overload. Journaling forces you to put events in order, separate what you know versus what you felt versus what you assume. And that alone reduces fear because the unknown becomes partially known. Number three, it lowers fear response over time. When you revisit the event in writing, your brain processes it in controlled environment. Adrenaline response gradually drops. The memory becomes less active threat and more of a past event. This is the same mechanism used in trauma therapy. And I've been saying that these encounters and the trauma from them, it's PTSD, guys. It's PTSD. And PTSD is real and it is serious, and you need to take the right steps to help you through it.
Yeah.
And number four, it rebuilds your sense of control. A big part of these encounters is I had no control over what happened. Journaling flips that. You control the narrative. You choose what to record. You analyze instead of react. That shift is huge mentally. Number five, it separates fear from observation. This is critical for investigators. Journaling helps you split emotional reaction, which is I was terrified, to physical data, which is it was 7 to 8 foot moving left to right and no sound. That makes your documentation more credible, more useful later, and less distorted by fear. Number six, it prevents memory distortion. Your brain changes memories over time, especially under fear. Writing soon after locks in details, preserves accuracy, prevents outside influence by other people, internet, and speculation. Number seven, it gives you a safe outlet without judgment. That is a really good one right there. A lot of people won't talk about these experiences because they fear ridicule, they fear being dismissed, they fear sounding crazy. And journaling removes that barrier and lets you be 100% honest. It also keeps the experience from being bottled up. Bottling things up is the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do. Talk about it. Whether it's journaling about it or finding you a trustworthy person or a support group like us. Tracey shows she helps people. She's a trustworthy person you can reach out to as well. Number 8, it helps you find patterns over time. For someone doing real investigations, multiple entries can reveal repeated locations, similar sounds, time of day patterns, and behavioral consistencies. That's where journaling moves from coping tool to investigative tool. Well, man, I might take that in. Journaling about investigations might help me investigate a little bit more. It's not good, but I might just do that. 9, it grounds you back to reality. After something extreme, people can overinterpret everything, become hyper-aware and paranoid. So writing helps you anchor back to facts, separate event versus imagination, stay balanced, which fits your no bullshit approach. I kid you not, that's what it says, no bullshit approach. So the bottom line is journaling works because it reduces mental overload, organizes the chaos, lowers fear response, preserves evidence, and restores control.
True.
Yep.
So, writing is very beneficial. So is talking about it. So is taking control of your environment, and that's something that I have really worked on, is taking control, controlling my environment. So, and I was just talking about this, and you're going to get a kick out of this, but every time I drive past my encounter site, you want to know what I do? I say, "Fuck you, Clayton. You don't scare me." And you want to know what? I've done that about 6 or 7 times. Oh, here, my kids are watching it, so 6, 7. I know they're going to call me that. I know they're watching. They're going to say that. I fall into that trap all the time. But doing that has allowed me to take control. It has pushed that fear out of my head. And people are always like, "Trish, I don't know how you can go back in there after that. I don't know how you can do it." You want to know why? Because I talk about it. I took back control, and I'm journaling about it, and I write about it. And it works. It really works. And if we can just get people to come forth and trust us and share with us what they've been through, we can share what we have done to help them. They can come out of this fear. And be okay, because everybody deserves to walk out in those beautiful woods and sit there and have a fire and roast marshmallows or roast hot dogs and fish with their kids or grandkids and drink a bottle of wine. Everybody deserves to be able to enjoy nature. Absolutely. But people that have these traumatic experiences, they're unable to, because they're living in fear every day. It's constantly being reprocessed in the brain, and that's our goal here with Cryptid Awakenings, is to help people process and cope with it. And
I tell people too that, by sharing it, when you're ready with whomever you're ready, you don't know who else you're going to be helping.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in with these things. It had me messed up, and I really did. When I went back to West Virginia, I stuck my feet in the mud. And I just took deep breaths, just closed my eyes, and just absorbed all the nature around me. That was the best thing I could ever do.
Absolutely.
Best thing. And I told myself right there, when I go back, I'm not afraid. I'm going to tell this thing, "If you, Clayton, I'm not scared of you. You will not take control of my mind and my body and my soul. This is my body, my soul, my mind. And I'm not allowing you to take advantage of it."
Right.
And that's how I've been doing better. It's just I keep repeating that over and over again, and I've been doing good.
It's so easy to say don't show fear, but you can't show fear. If you've got to know that you're in control of you, because that's what they feed off of, the negatives.
Absolutely. Yep. And I was just talking to you about this behind the scenes. I have an expedition this weekend, and everything that's going on with me, I'm just mentally, I'm drained, and I do worry if I go and be weak-minded, that's when I become vulnerable, and that's when things can get dangerous, because it knows when you're vulnerable, it knows when you're at your weak point, and that's when it sneaks right in and wants to go after you. So, but I'm glad I have a really strong support system, and I appreciate you and Jen and all of your guys' kind words, knowing what's going on. With that being said, we're at 1 hour and 14 minutes. Tracey, do you want to tell us where people can contact you and about your channel and all that good stuff?
I have a podcast that airs live on YouTube and Facebook, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called Beyond the Veil with Tracey Jones. You can get a hold of me a couple of different ways. I'm a low techie kind of person, so I don't have all the ads and the thises and the that's. I've got 2 things. I've got a Gmail account, which is paranormalwhitewitch@gmail.com. Send me any question you want, but do not take that as a challenge. I will answer anything, and no question is stupid, because if you don't know, you don't know. Okay? You can also go on my Facebook account, which is going to have my first name. And if you notice, it's CEY because mom had to be different. Tracey Lynn, Lynn, and you'll see us. And you can also go on Amazon and get my book, Witchcraft by Blood and Tradition, A Beginner's Guide. You can get it through Kindle, softback, or hardback. It's doing really well. And I've gotten all 5-star reviews so far, so I'm real happy about that.
Thank
Was
you
that
guys
the
for coming on.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It's a
Jen.
hardback.
Oh,
Oh,
I was going to say, because was that the hardback?
mhm.
Yeah.
Can I see it again? Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. I like hardback books, and that's so pretty.
I like it too.
We really appreciate your husband coming on. It has been a blast. It's always a good time with you guys. You guys are so funny when you're together. I love having you guys, watching you guys together. You're so funny.
We're like grumpy old men, except she's not a man.
Bonnie and Clyde, a little bit. Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Claude.
I'm Claude.
I'm Claude. My name's Jeff.
Man out of cupcakes.
So this is the one that I keep in my wallet now.
Okay.
And that was the one that I was holding on to and praying with when she was when she was doing the Estes method. It was a few hours before the indent came out of the palm of my hand. So.
Wow.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was enjoyable. I always have a
Thanks
good
for
time.
coming on. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
this has
listening to it.
This has been a good one. And it's been a different one of our shows, and it's good. You know, it's always okay to make things different, change it up a little bit. And this has been absolutely amazing. And I really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to put you guys in the back room.
All right.
And we're going to close out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys for, showing up for another episode of Cryptid Awakenings. Jen, it's always a pleasure hosting this show with you. We have a good time, and I'm very blessed and grateful for you. And this has been a really good thing that we have started, and it's growing. And it might be taking its time, but it's fine. We're getting somewhere, and we'll reach out to as many people as we can that needs help. And it's not forced. If you guys have an encounter that you're struggling with and you need somebody to talk to, please reach out to us. You can email either Monsters Unleashed at monsters_unleashed25@gmail.com, or Jen, you can tell me your email.
Creepyculture@yahoo.com.
You can you can message Creepy Culture on Facebook, Monsters Unleashed on Facebook. You can find me personally on Facebook. It's under Trisha Collins. But if you need to talk, we are here. We are here to listen. No judgment, no dismissing, no ridicule. You're not alone in this, and you're not crazy, and you're not a drunk, and you're not lying. We understand you, and we see you.
Mm-hmm.
You can also come on and not show your face. You don't have to give a name. We are trying our best to get the call-in option up and running. Things have been a little hectic here lately, but we are working our damnedest to get that set up. So with that being said, thank you guys for your support, and we appreciate all of you. And we hope that you have, a good night and good rest of your week, and a happy Easter or a happy holiday, however you say it. But this is Cryptid Awakenings.